Yeah. You guys know who I am? I'm Dan. Who wants to dance? SportsCenter with Jay and Dan. Just 2 weeks left until we take our summer hiatus and season 1 of the show ends, and we prepare for season 2, which will begin on Labor Day.
That's right. So in the next 2 weeks, one character will get killed off.
That's right. One character on this show will die, and so you'll definitely want to watch to see who that character is. I put my money on Hound Dog.
Yeah, he's our stats guy.
This is exciting. We're leading with IndyCar Day.
I wonder why.
Yeah, why? Why could that be?
Yeah, maybe because a young man that hails from the town of Oakville, Ontario, that's Canadian James Hinchcliffe, looking for his first IndyCar win in 15 months, dating back to last April in Long Beach. It's the IndyCar Series Iowa Corn 300. Began the race in 11th. Hinchcliffe makes up some ground, now in 3rd with 50 to go. He's looking to pass. Great move to the inside, jumping into 2nd place. This is a man I once raced on a tricycle. Hinchcliffe won at this same Iowa track 5 years ago. 4 laps later, he's behind leader Joseph Newgarden. Takes the lead, giving the Canadian the front spot. Late stages, Hinchcliffe leading and with separation. 4 laps left. Ed Carpenter spins out, clipped by Takuma Sato, causing a caution. Despite the caution, Hinchcliffe elects not to make a quick pit stop. That decision key. His teammate and fellow Canadian Robert Wickens was running in 3rd, but he goes for a tire change. Toronto native fell 2 spots into 5th, missed the podium. Because since the crash happened so late in the race, it actually ends on a caution, meaning Hinchcliffe snaps his 24-race victory drought as the Canadian goes into his hometown race next weekend in Toronto on a high note.
James, it's been a long road to home.
This is such a good feeling, you know, after what happened in May. We knew we had it, you know, we knew we had it in us, and to come here and do it like that, I mean, didn't qualify the best, but we had a good car, and First stint, it was great. Second stint, we made a change, went a little too far, went too far the other way the next stop, but that last stop, the thing was a rocket ship, and great battles there with Spencer and Joseph at the end, and guys were great in the pits, and Honda Power back on top, just going into Toronto like this. I'm just so stoked.
I'll tell you this, we've met him a couple times. We consider him a great friend now.
He was on this show. He was so great.
He's in those Honda commercials. Does a fantastic. He's just a very likable guy.
So Dancing with the Stars, he made it all. What, he was runner-up, I think. He's a talented guy. Hinchy.
A few more wins to catch Paul Tracy.
Bad news, Jay Happ struggled again this weekend against the Yankees. Worst news, the Yankees are the leading contenders to acquire him. The good news is that Happ is headed to his first All-Star game, and we'll have more on that later. But first, a possible glimpse into the future of the Jays rotation, or at least a part of it. Ryan Borucki has allowed just 4 runs over 13 innings since being called up. After the Yankees jumped to an early lead on Sunday, Didi Gregorius, Russell Martin giving chase, battling the sun. Beautiful weekend in the city of Toronto. Great recovery by Martin. There were hipsters everywhere filling the parks with their jean shorts and their craft brews. Justin Smoke, the smoke monster. Giancarlo Stanton, he thought it was gone. No, it was there. He misread that a bit. Fortunately for the Yankees, Smoke was stranded, moved to the 5th, 2 on, 1 out. Stanton, Borucki inducing the inning-ending double play. Another impressive outings for the 24-year-old, allowed just 1 run over 7. Kendrys Morales. That's his 200th career home run. 5th Cuban-born player to reach that milestone. Ties the game at 1 apiece. I'm going to say Skydome, not bad. I give it a hard time in the past, but it's a nice place to watch a game. 8th inning, Sonwan O. The umpire and crew refusing to let O's translator translate between O and Martin. He can only do so if John Gibbons is on the hill, which John Gibbons apparently didn't know about. And hitting coach Tim Leeper loses his patience. Has some choice words, throws equipment on the field, so we'll hear about that later. Wild start to the 8th. After giving up a leadoff single, O gets Stanton to ground to the 6-4-3. Huge turn by the Jays infield. They go to extras. Former Yankee Tyler Clippin. 1 on, 1 out, Brett Gardner, who hit a home run on Saturday. A clutch base hit to left. That would be the difference. New York takes the series. Here's Gibbons on the translator situation.
Eugene, man, he's trouble. I guess he said something about the rule. It says coach has to be on the mound when he's out there talking to the pitcher. That's the first I'd heard of that. You know, I mean, it's happened many times this year. Nobody said a word. And, I mean, that was when he came in the middle of an inning, you know, and I walked off, and Eugene stayed out there. And today he just, you know, came out to start an inning, and, you know, there was a huddle at the mound. Same thing. You know, they said the rule book, unless it's a really new rule within the last few days, doesn't have before. You know, I don't know what state secrets he's giving away, but yeah. And then Leap, you know, Leap was frustrated with something. I don't know, somebody looked at or something. I don't know.
He's right. It's just ridiculous. Baraki has been solid in all 3 of his starts, but has been unable to earn his first big league win despite pitching 7 innings in each of his last 2 outings.
Heard a little John Denver last night while driving home. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, Take Me Home, Country Roads. Just a classic. Now, why do I bring that up? The PGA stopped in West Virginia this weekend for the Greenbrier, where Phil Mickelson was 18 shots back, yet still somehow became a story on Sunday. Rules issues. That was why. On the tee on 7, Mickelson steps down on some fescue in front of the tee box. He seems to think he did something wrong. After he tees off, he asks a rules official for some clarification. Turns out it's a 2-stroke penalty. Mickelson double bogeying the hole. He explains what happened.
I just wasn't really paying attention or thinking. If it were on the tee box, no problem, but it wasn't. It was just, you know, a foot in front, and it's just one of those things. So, you know, you take your penalty and you move on. It's happened, you know, it's happened before.
Weird. Lefty. Tee shot on 18.
In the middle of the green.
Oh, no.
Whoa. Oh my gosh.
Right.
That's going to be in the stands. Clank.
That is on the other side of the grandstand.
I got to play provisional. That might be out.
I think so.
You might be out of West Virginia.
I think it is, Phil.
Yep. Phil triple bogeyed the hole, finished in a tie for 65th. Kevin Na leading on 6, looking for his 3rd straight birdie from a different area code. Yes, Guy moves him to 16 under, 2 up on the field. Yes, Guy used with permission. After a birdie on 18, Na approach on 9 led to a tap-in birdie, shot 5 under on the front, en route to a final round 64. Picks up his 2nd career PGA win, first since 2011. Grabs $1.3 million.
Brewers slugger Jesus Aguilar has hit the most home runs in Major League Baseball since mid-May.
I knew that.
No, you didn't. Nobody did, except for Brewers fans who are trying to vote Aguilar into the final spot on the National League All-Star team with their We Believe in Jesus campaign. Brewers hosting the Braves. Great matchup. Look at this. Family Day. Stephen Vogt's son Clark throwing out the first pitch. And then... Yes.
That's the best part.
That's pretty cool. 464 feet, Eric Thames. 7-1. 8th inning. Aguilar, I mentioned him. This is his 2nd home run of the game. 22nd home run of the year. That ties him with Nolan Arenado for the National League lead. And the Brewers keep pace atop the NL Central. Braves still tied with the Phillies atop the NL East.
Phillies and Pirates. Nick Kingham on the mound for Pittsburgh, looking for his first win since May 4th. Working with 1-0 lead in the fourth. Nick Williams, oh boy, visits Tappy Town. Population ball. His 11th of the season, ties the game at 1. Home half of the inning. Kingham holding the lumber. He's got 2 on. Yard. Line drive. 2-run double to left. That's Kingham's first career major league hit and RBI. What do you think of the throwbacks?
You know, they're okay.
He went 6, struck out 5. Pirates snapped a 5-game slide.
Like the pillbox hats in their time, it just seemed weird to me. Former Calgary Stampeder and Seattle Seahawks defensive back Brandon Browner was arrested near Los Angeles on Sunday on charges including kidnapping, burglary, false imprisonment, and violation of a restraining order after he broke into a residence and allegedly physically harmed and made threats to kill the victim inside. Browner also allegedly had a prior relationship with the person in question. He has been arrested multiple times in the past calendar year.
Up next, Daniel Cormier is your new heavyweight champ. But what's Brock Lesnar have to do with it? We'll tell you next. The Baltimore Orioles have reportedly received offers from 7 teams for Manny Machado. According to MLB Network's Ken Rosenthal, the offers rank in order of Dodgers, who are said to have the best offer on the table, D-backs, Brewers, Phillies, Braves, Indians, and Cubs. 26-year-old, last year of his contract, he's hitting .310 with 21 home runs this season. The Orioles are 40 games below 500.
40.
Taking on the Twins. Manny Machado, 2-time Gold Glover. Both of those at third. He now plays short. Look at that. Lays out, gets it. That ends the inning. Bottom 6. Eduardo Escobar. Drives one deep. I want you to pay attention to where this lands. See, there's a car on display out there. It hits that car. And it dents the car. The ball left Escobar's bat with an exit velocity of 104 miles per hour. What does that mean? No one knows. Same inning, Brian Dozier, upper tanker.
Oh.
And this guy in the white almost dies getting the ball.
Terrifying.
Daddy, you aren't dead. Twins win.
That was a fun highlight back then. How the Dodgers with Angels. Yasiel Puig hit 344 over his last 10 games. Homered against the Angels Saturday. Homers against the Angels on Sunday. Sending this curveball into the bush. Impressing teammate Matt Kemp.
Did you see any of those pitches? He's weird. He can hit in shadows. Wow! Wow! Wow!
Matt Kemp seems like he's always living his best life. Didn't he date Rihanna at one point?
He did.
6th inning, 3-2. Albert Pujols, number 627 of his career, now just 3 home runs away from tying Ken Griffey Jr. for 6th on the all-time list. And then Shohei Ohtani, who won't be pitching again this season because of a sprained UCL, still allowed to hit. No home runs since May the 17th.
And a 13 strikeout performance against the A's. Ohtani sends the ball to center field, and it's gone!
He hit that ball to Tokyo.
It was Alex Rodriguez. It would be impossible for him to have hit the ball to Tokyo. No chance.
World Cup of Noodles, newest clock sponsor. I loves me some noodles.
Is this... We're talking about Jamie McLennan? Noodles? His own personal World Cup?
I want him to rank noodles, but I was told by one of our producers, G-Bone, that was a horrible idea by me.
You wanted to do a segment where Jamie McLennan would simply rank different types of noodles. I'd love to get your feedback, the viewers, whether they think that's a good idea. If it is, we'll bring it in for season 2.
Perfect. Major League Baseball announced the rosters for the upcoming All-Star game in Washington. American League starters, want to see them first?
I'd love to.
Here you go. We mentioned Machado. He's on the trading block. He's in there. Mike Trout. Kind of surprised he got the nod.
Apparently the deal, Jose Altuve led all.
Just kidding, people.
Led all votes. Apparently the deal with the Machado deal, I believe Ken Rosenthal reported this, is that they have an unrealistic expectation for the return on Machado because everyone knows they have to deal him, but they want a lot.
Yeah. Jay Happ's going to represent the Blue Jays. Someone had to go. It's his first All-Star selection. Happ's having a career year. ERA of 4.44, 115 strikeouts through 105 innings pitched. You want to see the NL? Sobeys. Good grocery store.
Yep.
Here's the NL.
I didn't know they bought Safeway since we left and came back.
Sobeys, everything's fresh. Freddie Freeman, dual citizen. His mom's from my hometown.
I mentioned Matt Kemp earlier. Kemp! Look at that.
Bryce Harper's going to be making his 5th career All-Star game start. He actually breaks a tie with Gary Carter for most All-Star game starts in Nationals franchise history.
Isn't that cool?
Nick Markakis, another cool stat. He's appeared in just under 2,000 regular season games. That's the most by any player named to his first All-Star game.
And Nolan Arenado continues to just be amazing. Saturday night, Daniel Cormier.
Yes.
Our friend of SportsCenter with Jay and Dan, knocks out Stipe Miocic in the first round to win the UFC heavyweight title and hold the light heavyweight title and the heavyweight title, becoming just the second man in UFC history to hold 2 belts in 2 separate weight classes at the same time.
The height difference, like just that alone.
It was incredible when you saw them in the stare downs. On Friday, you thought, man, but Cormier, you gotta love him. He's resilient, and he gets it done. And there's some talk about the eye poking and stuff like that. Miocic said it just wasn't his night. I'm sure they'll have a rematch. It'll be great.
And DC, before he retires, he's got a couple of fights left in him.
Right, and his night got really interesting.
Yeah.
During the post-fight interview, where he called out a former UFC heavyweight champion. Okay, first of all, the smiles on Joe Rogan and Dana White's faces were like bigger than Brock Lesnar's back.
Yeah.
Like they are so pumped because they orchestrated that. Not to say it was staged, but it was orchestrated beautifully, right? I mean, Lesnar sitting octagon side.
He knows what he's doing.
He knows how to sell a fight, and that's why he's still doing it. He's 41 years old, hasn't won since 2010 in the UFC, at least hasn't won a fight that wasn't overturned.
And he has a Canadian connection. He has a farm in Saskatchewan.
I know, so now we're kind of torn, right? Because he's we got to.
Yes, a lot to be done. Lesnar, they say they're going to probably fight in March. He has to complete the drug testing required by the UFC's anti-doping policy because his last fight was in 2016. He failed the doping test against Mark Hunt.
Yes, he did.
So there's still some hurdles.
But this is beautiful, right? The UFC, I think,
they need.
We're fans of the UFC. They needed something like this. For Cormier, it's very similar. Like it's the kind of thing for his last fight, because he says he wants to retire before he turns 40.
One of those last big paydays.
He wants that huge payday, right? So he'll get it, and people watch it. But I think DC's got that fight. By the way, week 4 in the CFL, pretty entertaining, pretty enjoyable. It's in the books. Here to recap is our Canadian Football League insider, Dave Naylor. We call him the Nail Gun. And here is Dave Naylor. Dave, Jason Moss came under fire again for his play selection in the final minutes of Saturday's loss to the Argos. I know Eskimos fans are questioning his play calling. Do you agree with those fans?
I did not. Look, Jason Moss has not been great at challenges, and his frustration in that area has been well documented. But at the end of the game, when the Eskimos went to punt, 2nd and 8 at midfield with 2:19 left, I looked at it and said, that's the right call. And because in the Canadian Football League, that's an enormous amount of time. In the NFL, you would never make that call. But in the CFL, it's different, and it's hard for teams, to string together those long drives and eat the clock and kill it. The Argonauts managed to do that. James Wilder at the end of the game is what you hope a big, powerful tailback will be. That guy who's chewing up those yards, who's unstoppable, can kill the clock and move the ball. But I thought at the time they made the call to punt that it was the right decision.
Tabby's lost, but another big game for Jeremiah Masoli. At this pace, I don't see Johnny Manziel hitting the field at all for the Ticats.
I'll tell you, if you've taken 100 people who've studied the Ticats quarterback situation and said, do you think they'll get to the bye week without Johnny Manziel taking a snap? 100 people would have told you no way, and I would have been to the front of the line. Look, Jeremiah Mazzoli's played really well. He's had the 4 300-yard games. But the one issue that I think that is there is there's been 2 games, week 1 in Calgary and the other night in Saskatchewan. You know, he had the ball in his hands late in the game, down by less than a touchdown, and he couldn't produce a win. And until he does that, I think there's still going to be a lot of scrutiny over his play.
Okay.
Will Johnny Manziel go through the year without getting on the field? No way. He's going to play at some point, and I think we're getting close to that time. Is it possible he doesn't start all season? I do think that's possible because Jeremiah Mazzoli has earned the right to stay as the Ticats starter.
What do you think is more likely? Gonna throw you a quick one here. More likely that he plays for the Tabbies this season or gets traded at some point this season?
I think it's far more likely he plays. And look, if we get to the end of this year and Jeremiah Mazzoli puts up the kind of numbers he's put through the first 4 weeks, I think we will see a trade in the offseason.
Dave Naylor, our CFL insider, thank you very much, my friend. That has been the Nail Gun. When we return on this episode of SportsCenter with Jay and Dan, Mark Reynolds was the most interesting man in baseball this weekend. We will tell you why after the break.
What a weekend for the Nationals. Mark Reynolds, he hit a walk-off pitch at home run Friday. Just a great moment. Then on Saturday, he went 5 for 5 with 10 runs batted in. 10! Well, that's what I call a weekend. Until Sunday came along where you won't believe what Reynolds did.
Bullpen.
He started the game playing third. He went 2 for 4. In the ninth, his manager hands him the ball to pitch. His first major league pitching appearance facing Ryan Holiday. He needed to get 1 out. First pitcher runners on.
And it's a wild pitch.
Wild pitch. Runners don't move. It's a 10-2 game, so it's good sportsmanship. They didn't. Second pitch, 77 miles per hour. It's in the dirt. Third pitch.
I always thought as a hitter.
Reynolds forgot to cover first on the play. He just watched it, and he says, "Oh, my bad. My bad."
And then coming off the field,
his teammates loving that moment. They lost big. That's why he was in the game.
Sure, Justin Bieber is engaged to, I'm not really sure, someone. But Cleveland rookie Shane Bieber is 4-0 to start his career. Didn't have the best luck here, though. Mark Canha pops one shallow. Francisco Lindor. Haley Baldwin is who he's saying.
Who's that now?
Not sure. Is that Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger's daughter? So, Shane Bieber picks up his first MLB lock. Oh, she's the daughter of Stephen Baldwin, one of Alec Baldwin's brothers. That's who Biebs is engaged to. They've been dating for a month.
What happened to Christina, or Gomez? What's her, not Chris?
Selena?
Selena Gomez.
This has been entertainment news with Jay and Dan.
So out of touch.
Today in sports history. July 8th, 2010. LeBron James makes his decision to leave Cleveland and take his talents to South Beach, live on national television with an audience of 13 million people watching at home. Also, the Blue Jays beat the Twins 8-1 to get to 500. This has been Today in Sports History.
What does it smell like?
A lot of chlorine.
It's time for the Jay and Dan mailbag. Actual letters from actual viewers from across this great country. Brian Ferguson wants to know, who are your spirit animals, Dan?
I like Alf. I like to be Alf, walk around no pants and just to eat everyone else's food.
Chasing after cats.
Oh yeah, try to eat the cat all the time.
Hiding from the Ochmoneks in the kitchen. For me, it's two-time Stanley Cup champion Phil Kessel. I just love his approach to life. I love every answer is, I don't care. I don't care. I love that. I wish I could be like that.
Wes asks, who could give Joey Chestnut a run for his money in a hot dog eating contest? Well, glad you asked that, Wes, because I cooked up some tasty dogs for me and my daughters on Sunday, and I had 2. I was content.
Yeah, I had a hot dog at Skydome on Saturday at the Jays game. That was plenty for me. So, to be honest, the answer to your question is, could we eat as many as Joey Chestnut? No, not even close. And finally, Devin says, settle the debate once and for all, is soup a meal? I say yes. Dan?
One of my favorite meals growing up, tomato soup full of crackers. Make sure you make the tomato soup with milk. Boomsies.
I say even miso soup is a meal. You get the delicious tofu in there and maybe little slices of green onion. That's going to nourish you, going to make you feel good.
And our friend Donovan McNabb in that chunky soup.
Yes. Had a bit too much of it since he retired.
That's the Jay and Dan Mail.
That's it.
Coming up.
And after weeks of partying, Sunday was Alex Ovechkin's final day with the Stanley Cup. And you gotta have a cake, don't you? Look at those bracelets around Ovi's wrist. Those look like friendship bracelets because he's made a lot of friends over the past few years.
Yeah, and I saw him saying goodbye to the Stanley Cup. He almost cried.
Yeah, he doesn't want to give that up. He's gonna have to win it next year. It's the worst play of the day. Justin Smoke sends one to right. This is Giancarlo Stanton. You know what? He misread this so badly, but I will say this. When you see that Pressler injury lawyer sign out in right field, you're immediately intimidated.
Buck, I thought that ball was...
DQ Burgers? Really good.
Underrated.
New York.
Could go for one of those right now.
Popped this one up.
Russell Mark
clips the mask up.
battling the sun.
And he's...
Nice catch. Yeah, see, the humidity was down, so they could open the roof because they had to close it. It was just too freaking hot
last week.
Yeah.
Weather was just so nice.
You blew it. We pointed out our errors. I said Kevin Na sunk a birdie on 18. He sunk it on 8. You read Janny 5 instead of Janny 4.
Yep.
And during the Wimbledon promo, I said Manic Monday's the quarterfinals. It's actually the round of 16. So that's just minor details.
Yeah. Now, all in all, it was a great show for us. And are we doing Jay and Dan Bloop Bloops?
Are Bloop Bloops coming?
Bloop Bloops time?
Tim?
Oh, man. So it's Jay and Dan Bloop Bloops, the 3rd edition of this brand new segment. Enjoy, everybody. TSN audio test. TSN audio test.
Maple Leafs have traded forward Matt Martin to the Islanders in exchange for goaltender Eamon McAdam. Eamon McAdam.
Or is he? Glenn, can you zoom in on me?
Glenn's sitting over there.
Okay.
Introducing the greatest baking app in the world with the Ronaldo baking app. Ronaldo.
This is a Blue Jays.
Yeah, you got it.
I do?
Yeah. Uruguay, who will likely be with Uruguay.
Hound Dog's been eating an entire
Yeah, it's about 8
bowl
liters
of
of sour cream.
Hound Dog, why did you do this to yourself? Because we bullied you into it?
No. You almost did it.